Thank you all. Please be seated. Mr. Prime Minister, as I said on the South Lawn, we are delighted to have you here in Washington. Yeah, I thank you for the question on a court ruling that literally came out in the midst of my meeting with the Prime Minister. And so I haven't had a chance to fully review the findings of the Supreme Court. I want to assure you that we take them very seriously. To the extent that there is latitude to work with the Congress to determine whether or not the military tribunals will be an avenue in which to give people their day in court, we will do so. The American people need to know that this ruling, as I understand it, won't cause killers to be put out on the street. In other words, there's not as I was a drive-by briefing on the way here, I was told that this was not going to be the case. At any rate, we will seriously look at the findings, obviously.
Well, the military commissions, and I think this is what the court recognized, were essentially a fake court. They didn't comply with the most fundamental tenets we have, which are checks and balances. Congress is supposed to set up courts and fair procedures. These couldn't even comply, as the court said, with the most minimal requirements under international law. And so I do think that this is a rebuke, but I would caution those who say that this is kind of President Bush lost today. President Bush didn't lose today. America and our founders won today by adhering to our most fundamental values as a people.
The President has charted the course for the future. He indicated, as all of us would have, to defer to this court's ruling on how to proceed. It's clear how to proceed, exactly as we've been asking from the beginning, in a regular court, be that a federal court for the charge of conspiracy, or if there is a war crime, in a court-martial. We have never contested that we had not be tried there. All we have wanted is a fair trial, and we thank the Supreme Court for ensuring that Mr. Hamdan will get one.
You're not looking here. Larry, we need you.
And the decision today is a travesty in terms of the way that the court has decided to establish itself as a super military authority and to second guess the views not only of the executive branch but also of Congress.
All right. Well, it's a major loss for the administration. For years now, critics, both domestically and internationally, have objected to the president's claim of authority. What the court is saying is that he didn't have the authority. For years, he's been acting under a pretense of authority. Now, the reason this is so important is that we're in the middle of a constitutional crisis. The president is accused of violating the separation of powers in a host of areas. He's even accused in one case of committing something to be a federal crime in the NSA domestic surveillance program. So this is occurring in the middle of this constitutional crisis, and it's something of a pushback by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is telling the president, you're not a government unto yourself. You're not an absolute ruler.